Hi friends, Renee Keys here with Carolina Creative, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. My information is here where you can reach me. You can either look me up on Carolina Creative or at Stampin' Up! And this is the host code for April, and I'll have this on my work mat here when I get started. Today I'm going to do another fun fold. It's going to be a gatefold, but not a gatefold that opens in the middle. This is going to be an offset, so you're going to have a smaller flap that'll open on one side and then bigger on the other side. And I'll show you how I score that and make that in a minute. And I'm also working with another stamp set that will be retiring out of the current catalog as soon as the new catalog launches on May 1st. So for another month, you can still get It's a Science. If you know me, I'm a little bit of a science geek, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to have this stamp set. So I'm going to do some stamping with the It's a Science stamp set today. Now, I've selected a piece of cardstock. I've got Granny Apple Green, real bright and cheerful. This has already been cut in half at 5.5 inches. So I'm just going to make a standard size card. And then what I've got is a piece of really bright and colorful Designer Series paper. This came out of the Bright and Beautiful, and it's just a 2-inch strip. I just want a little splash of color, and you'll see why I picked all these bright colors. The other thing that I've already pre-cut is a 1-inch strip. I've got yellow to go with my Granny Apple Green. And then I've used the Deckled Rectangles dies to make this rectangle. And this is going to have my sentiment and some stamping on it. So that's ready to go. Now, what I'll do is I'll flip the camera so that you can see how I'm going to score to create this card. And then we'll do some stamping and some coloring today. So let me flip the camera down. Now, this is a standard half sheet of cardstock, as I already mentioned. And what I'm going to do is score this at 1 1/4. This is going to give me my little flap that will be on one side. So that's 1 1/4. And I'm going to run my, I want to come out of the slot, run my scoring tool over that. And then I'm going to move it over to 5.5. And this is going to give me my standard insert. I can show you how my insert will line up in the middle of this card, and then I'll have 2 flaps on either side. So let me line this up again at 5.5, run my scoring tool over it. That should give me a nice crease. And I'm now done with my scoring and cutting tool, so I'm going to move that out of the way. And what I'm going to do is use my bone folder to burnish these edges and just give it a nice crisp fold. And you can now see how this is going to come together. So I call it an offset just because it's not in the middle. It's not a standard gatefold, but it does open from 2 sides. Okay, so this is my insert, and I may go ahead and stamp that just so it's ready, and I'll be able to put that inside. And then we'll work on stamping this and the rest of the card. So let me get started with that. My message on the inside is simply going to say, hope it's your best day ever. And I did borrow this from another stamp set. I almost used enjoy your day, you know, something like that. But I decided with the message I was going to put on the front, I liked the best day ever. So let's see if I can line this up straight. That'll work. And then I'm just going to use one of the other stamps out of the stamp set. It's a really cute little atom type molecule. I'm going to put that down in the corner just to give me something on the inside. So that's ready to be glued down, but I've still got some more stamping to do. So I'm going to put my yellow paper on this one side. And I'm going to go ahead and make my own Designer Series paper, basically. And this time I'm going to use the structure of some kind of a molecule. And I am just going to randomly stamp this. Let me make sure I'm in the view here. Randomly stamp this. Some of it's going to go off the side and up and down, and I'm twisting and turning, and there's the whole thing. And let me flip this and get this on there. There we go. So I just have random molecule, and this is going to get adhered onto the right-hand side. And now I am going to put the paper on the other side, so I want that to be showcased. But I want some decoration on this one too. So this time I'm going to do tone on tone. Instead of having this bright Granny Apple Green on the yellow, I'm going to, again, same thing I put on the inside is this little atomic structure. And I'm going to randomly stamp this, and I'm rotating it, and some of it's going on and off the paper, so that it's going to show up peeking out from the colored designer paper. That might be enough. Let's stick one more there. Some of this is definitely going to be covered up, but that's okay. It's random. I wanted it to look random. All right, I think I'm done with that. So when I get ready to start gluing everything down, you can see how this is going to go together. I'm going to have a piece of paper. I've got my little molecules. I could have, and I think I'm going to go back and do it. I want to make something going off that edge on this side. So I'm just going to add it right there. And I'm going to go ahead and clean up. You see how easy this is to clean up off of my nice glass mat. Clean up a little ink that was on there. There, I like that. I like that it added just a little bit. Now I'm afraid, yeah, it'll peek out when I'll show you how this is going to be assembled once I get it all done. And this is how the flap will open. Okay, so let's get busy and let's do some stamping. I've pulled out basic gray. I decided I didn't want to be as bold as using the black. I love black, my Memento black, but in this case, I think I like the gray better because I want the colors, and they would pop with the black too. I just opted to use the gray. Okay, so we've got some really cute glassware. We got test tubes and beakers and Erlenmeyer, a flask and an Erlenmeyer flask. So to me, that's just kind of fun. The sentiment that I want to use on the front, and I'm going to do this in boho blue, which kind of coordinates with the blue on here as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and stamp this before I get out all my markers. And so my sentiment says, it's your birthday, you can overreact. I just thought that was the funniest thing. And so I'm stamping that on there. Nice contrast. It's one of the colors in my designer paper, so I'm still very coordinated. And now I've pulled out, as you can see here, all these bright colors because I'm going to do some coloring and put contents inside all the glassware. I've even taken, you can easily cut these out, and so I've got an extra little test tube that I punched out that I'm going to add over on this side when I get this all done. So let me start playing a little bit with all these colors. I picked colors that kind of go along with the theme of the paper, and that was the reason that I picked the paper. So I'm going to put some funky blue liquid in here. I'm just coloring along the lines. There we go. Oh, I'm going to even put a meniscus on this. I'm going to give it a little curve. There we go. And then I'm not going to, this is a really great bright yellow. So I'm going to, this one's not going to be full. I'm just going to put a little liquid in the bottom here. You see how quickly I can color these. There we go. And then my green, the parakeet, or actually it's a granny apple that matches. And let's make this one fuller. And I'm just simply outlining the edges, or trying to. And then I'll fill in. So there we go. Color going across. A little bit of zigzag here. And you can see a little bit of texture here, and I'm happy with that. I like that it looks like, you know, you do have liquid in there. Here's my Berry Burst, really bright pink. I will outline this, and I want to try to keep it in the lines here. There we go. And again, I'm just going to go across this way, and color this in. It almost looks like I gave it a little texture. And then I'm going to put orange in this. And because I'm going to put it on an angle, I'm going to make it look like the liquid is also at an angle. So let's do that. I'm going to turn it where I can hold it and color this in. So you can see this doesn't take long at all. I'm using my Stampin' Write markers to do this. And so that's that. Now the other trick that we can do, I am going to make these look like they're overreacting. And so this stamp set comes with these cute little bubbles. And you can either ink this up, you know, on your ink pad. This is this bright turquoise. But what I'm going to do is use my marker and just simply color this. And then what you need to do is blow on it or huff on it. And I'm going to give this, there we go, a little reaction going on there. And now I'm going to do it again with my bright green. You see, I just cleaned this on my my pad, and now I'm going to do the same thing with green. Here we go. Give it a little color. Give it a huff. And this time I flipped it the other direction. There we go. And so I actually like that. It's overlapping with my cinnamon up top here a little bit. I could have done more, but I think that's just enough. It's got a little bit of reaction. Of course, you know, I'm going to pull out the Wink of Stella and color the liquid and color in some of those bubbles. But I think I'm at the point now where I can start assembling. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue, my Tombow here, and let's dot some on my insert. Got a big blob there. And glue this on the inside. Hope it's your best day ever, since this is a birthday card. And now I'm going to put my strip on the side, part of my gatefold here, my little off-center gatefold. So, I mean, this is still considered a fancy fold because, or a fun fold, because it's not a standard way to open a card. It opens off to the side. And now I'm ready to put my designer paper on. And I am going to push this over further, well, it's to my left, so that more of this shows, even though a lot of it will get covered up. So let me go ahead and put glue on here. Make sure I've got it held down and glue in all those corners. Here we go. And, yep, let those little atoms peek out from the side. And now I just have to decide where I'm going to place this. I want some color to show, so I do want it to overlap. I want, you know, some of this to show. I could put it down a little lower. Oh, I kind of like that. I think I'm going to go a little lower. And then it's going to overhang here, so the trick is always to make sure you don't put adhesive on that side. So what I'm going to do is flip this over and keep it about where I think I'm going to glue it. And this time I think I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal. And I'm going to turn this on its side and make sure I don't go over my line. So I'm going to run some tape right along the edge here and down the middle. If I get it to cooperate, here we go. Down the middle and down the other edge. Make sure I have enough on there. And now when I flip it back over, I should be able to line this up about where I wanted it on my colors. And before I press it, I'm just making sure I have it over far enough. There we go. All right, press it down. And then as I mentioned, I still wanted to add some Wink of Stella. And so I'm going to make these some sparkly solutions in all this glassware. There we go. Oh, and what I didn't do is add my other little test tube that's laying here beside me. And I'm going to give those bubbles some shimmer and give this some shimmer. And I think what I'm going to do is, because it's separate, I'm going to use my little mini Stampin' Dimensionals here and put them on the back. It's wider at the top. I had cut some of these on the edge so that I could support this test tube. I think I'm going to do those at an angle. You see my little strips here? I'm just using the edge of my sheet of dimensionals, and I snipped it to make little rectangles. Oh, I already took the backing off. That makes it easier for me. Okay, so now I'll make sure I peeled off all of these backing, and I'm just going to put that on an angle. You could lay it down to make it look like something was spilling out too, but I didn't have that much space over there. So there you have it. Here is my offset gatefold. In fact, let me flip the camera up. Offset gatefold so that it does open from two sides. I stamped some of my own DSP, my designer series paper. I used some bright colors here. I then tried to incorporate those colors into into my stamps on the card. Just to give you an idea, I was playing with this set yesterday. Again, pulling out some bright colored papers. Didn't make the bubbles match this time, made different, and then this one used the microscope and said, let's celebrate. So I thought that was kind of fun. I think this one says, enjoy your day. Oh, you're every bit of wonderful. Yeah. So a couple of variations on a theme using the soon-to-be retiring It's a Science stamp set. Thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned for the next video. If you like the products or the projects you've seen here, feel free to reach out to me. You can purchase these projects and products from Stampin' Up! Thanks.